Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Today I'm going to do a brief, interesting video. And from time to time, I'm going to do these types of videos, and this is just my opinion. It's all it is. But, you know, when you look at things from an older adult standpoint versus when you're in your teenage years, you see things differently. And I was just recently having a conversation with someone of my generation, and we were talking about some of the horrific things that we recall during our years as a teenager. And in Atlanta in the late 70s, early 80s, there were like 27 young African American men that were murdered. And the city was in a panic. Nobody knew who was doing this. A lot of people was hollering it was genocide, and it was a satanic racist movement to kill off the young black men. And what got the case cracked open was this fiber evidence, because on the bodies of these young men there were three distinctive fibers in all of these cases. So the media leaked the story that the law enforcement was going to solve this case through fiber evidence. So apparently who was doing the killings decided to change the MO to throw them off, because at that point before all the bodies were being found on land. Then after that news story broke, all the bodies started showing up in the river nude. So it was quite obvious that there were people that was trying to, or persons that was trying to throw off the law enforcement by trying to throw the bodies in the river to get rid of the trace evidence. And how Wayne Williams, who was convicted of technically he was only convicted of 2 of those murders, but they felt that he was involved in all of them. And how he even ended up on the radar was, at that point when the bodies started showing up in the rivers, the police, the law enforcement decided to start patrolling the bridges. They were literally up under the bridge hoping that they would catch somebody in the middle of the night dumping bodies. So one night they heard a splash. They came up on the bridge to see who had dropped anything in the water, and Wayne Williams was on the bridge, and they was like, what are you doing out here at 2 in the morning? And he said he had just came from a nightclub, because he's a music producer. He was there checking out an act that he's thinking about signing. And so the police did the investigation and found out that nobody could put Wayne Williams at the nightclub that night. So he became a prime suspect, and they gathered a warrant to search his house, and they found these 3 different distinctive fibers in his house. The carpet, it's like a quilt, and then it was like it was the fibers that was in his station wagon. And they said, what are the chances of one other individual or group of other individuals having these 3 different distinctive fibers in their possession? Not just one fiber, because if it was one, it's like that's kind of hard to kind of nail him or pinpoint to say that he did it. But 3 different fibers, they said the chance of that is like 1 in 80,000. So a long story short, the consensus back in that era in the black community was it wasn't Wayne Williams, it was somebody else. Again, it was genocide. They're trying to kill off our young black men. But in actuality, it was Wayne Williams. Because as I said, as I got older, I've reviewed the evidence and tried to not listen to the opinions and listen to the evidence, which was fact. You come to the conclusion that unfortunately he did do it. And people ask, well, why did he do it? And here is something interesting. The very last person, and he was actually one of the 2 men that Wayne Williams was convicted of killing. The very last victim was seen coming out of the theater with Wayne Williams holding hands. And the person that seen him was a co-worker of the murder victim. And he said that's what stood out, that he's seen these 2 grown men holding hands. And you come to the conclusion, if that eyewitness account is credible, that Wayne Williams was a sexual predator. He preyed on young black men because that's what he liked. And he's kind of like a Dharma in a sense, but he wasn't eating it, doing those hideous things. But, it was a sexual predator crime. That's what motivated him. So, I find that interesting. I'm just going to say this and sign off. Years after that, they said that another guy, white guy named Edwards, claimed to have did this, for satanic reasons. and you ask yourself, what are the chances of a white man roaming around in a poor black neighborhood for almost 2 years, go undetected? And then the question I have is, what about the carpet fiber? You know, did you have those three distinctive carpet fibers in your possession too? So that was just some nonsense, and it was more or less to get media attention, you know, because this guy I think wrote a book, you know. So you know, I just thought I would post this video because, you know, I found, you know, this story to be pretty interesting, and that's just my personal opinion. That's all it is. That, you know, they do have the right person behind bars, but people claim, well, after he was incarcerated, people still getting murdered. People still getting murdered to this day. You know, and unfortunately, that's not, I don't think, gonna stop anytime soon as far as 100%. You know, so you know, that's just Morris Mann opinion. And until next time, take care. Thanks for watching.